Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat
Welcome to Satsang. Feels like it's been a few days since we've been together live up here. We had some last minute pouring rain one day. Then we of course had our beautiful Krishna Janmashtami. Then we had our special International Youth Day event. There's been been so much else happening. But it's so beautiful to be back in this special space of satsang, even just a few days without it, and you notice. And it's so beautiful to be back. And tonight we've got this beautiful mist that's just beginning to come up on Mother Ganga, and it's such a beautiful blessing to be able to sit here and be with you. Yes.
So many beautiful questions to choose. Why did God create us? Can we not live happily in this material world because we're sent to earth for our sins?
So first of all, we are definitely not sent to earth because of our sins. A human birth is considered the highest, the pinnacle of spiritual evolution. It's a gift, it's a blessing. There is a law of karma that says that the circumstances that we're given in each life are given to us so that we can take our next step closer to the divine. The circumstances that we're given, the situations that we're put in, are not a punishment by any means. Certainly being here is not a punishment. The circumstances that we're given are those that are the most conducive based on all of our karmic package from lifetimes. Because of course this lifetime's karma, we only start accruing it once we start acting. So when you think about things that happen long before we've done any karma in this life, the situation we're born in, family we're born in, circumstances we're born in, the physical package we're born in, so what culture, what race, what color, but also physically all of our genetic makeup, all of the aspects genetically of things that chances are we'll be good at or not good at, skills, abilities. A lot of that is what we learn, but a lot of that is genetic as well. Different people are born with different innate abilities for maybe music, maybe art, maybe math. That whole package is based on all of our past karmic package, past karma. But it's not about punishment for a sin. The whole point is for us to awaken, for us to finally realize who it is within us that keeps coming back and keeps doing this. They say that if you can imagine a mountain that I think it's a mile high and a mile wide, maybe more even, but I think it's a mile high and a mile wide. And once every 100 years, a bird flies past that mountain with a silk scarf in its beak. And that silk scarf flies across the mountain, touches the mountain once every 100 years, the amount of time that it will take that silk scarf to erode the mountain that, remember, is a mile high and a mile wide. The amount of time that it will take that silk scarf to erode it, that is how long we have been coming back and coming back and coming back. One soul, one capital S self, coming back in different bodies, different circumstances, different situations, to keep working through our karma, to finally get to that place of awakening. So the human birth is considered the pinnacle, the best, the gift. Because in a human birth, we are able to be conscious of consciousness. Animals, it is assumed, just do their thing. Dog is barking down there, but he's not conscious of, now I'm barking. Is this an appropriate time to be barking? What has stimulated my barking? How do people around me feel about my barking? Why am I barking now when other dogs aren't barking? What's this whole barking thing going on? It just barks. It's not even aware that there is a capital D dogness that's just watching the barking. Humans are the only ones who have that, it's believed, who have that ability to be conscious. And through that consciousness, we have the ability is by far not a punishment. It is, however, believed that we will keep coming back until we have that ultimate experience, until we attain what we call moksha, or freedom. Freedom from the confines of the mind, freedom from the ignorance, freedom from this idea that I am this physical body, that I am this particular life's history, this particular life's color or culture or race or religion. Freedom from that, freedom from the mind, freedom from thinking I am angry, I am jealous, I am depressed, I am better than, worse than. Freedom from all of that. And ultimately when we do, it's believed that we don't come back, that we just attain that ultimate formless oneness with God. But the truth is that it's not the body that is actually keeping us stuck. And so Puja Swamiji, for example, and other enlightened masters have said, we're going to keep coming back. This isn't a prison for us. We are coming back on purpose. Coming back to serve, coming back to help, coming back to carry other people across that ocean. So being here on earth in form is not the bondage. The bondage is in the mind. And so whether you attain awakening in this particular life, in this particular body, or you die, take a new body, you've attained it in that body, don't wait thinking that when you attain moksha, then you won't have to have a body, then you'll just be formless with God. But rather, realize that when you attain moksha, that is when this body, this life, becomes a blessing. That is when our senses become this way for us, not to be a slave, not to be imprisoned, not to respond to our senses in ways that we later regret, or in ways that bring us lower in our karma or our dharma. Not in ways that foster ignorance, but rather in ways that are full of gratitude for the creation. Ways that enable us just to experience the smell of the roses, the sound of the rushing waters of Mother Ganga, the touch of the rain on our skin, the touch of the sun on our skin. That's when the body becomes an extraordinary blessing. So don't think that having the body or being here is the punishment. The mind is the problem. And this is where we have this life to learn, to work with the mind. God created us in this divine Leela to give us the opportunity to come back home. Because if we're just nothing but undivided, formless soul, there's no coming home. And there's something very exquisite about coming back, about coming home. And so God has created 2 out of 1, 7 billion out of 1. To give 7 billion humans, an infinite number, when you take all species, the possibility of the joy of coming back home.
I know I measure my worth by how productive I am, or if I can see that something I did helped someone. Some days I'm not very productive because I already think that I don't measure up. How do I let go of this?
The catch-22 of self-fulfilling prophecies. When you look at your life, there's a lot of reasons that we may not necessarily be achieving or attaining that which we want to. One reason may be very simple. That's not in our karmic package. That's not the universe's plan for us. If I set my sights that I was only going to be happy if I achieved being a superstar basketball player, I would live a life of misery. At 5'3" and, about 115 pounds, especially now as an almost 50-year-old female, no chance. But even as a 20-year-old female, I was still only 5'3". There was no possibility in this particular incarnation, in this particular physical being, that I was going to be a superstar on some professional basketball team. That 6-foot-something, 200-something pound men were going to really want me as the one they were going to pass the ball to, or as the one who was going to make the shot, or as the one who was going to dribble the ball down the court. Didn't matter if I had the most amazing coaches and trainers. No chance. So one reason that we don't attain things is because we've made a decision in our mind that that which we want to attain is something that's just not in our karmic package. And this is where it's so important to find that balance between, on the one hand, continuing to try, not giving up, giving your best, being sincere, but also honestly looking at each of our skills, our abilities, and really assessing, not in a sense of an inferiority complex or a superiority complex, with none of our emotional drama or psychological baggage. Is this actually something that I can attain? Too many of us create a situation that we're not going to be happy unless we attain something or achieve something that isn't in our karmic package. So that's one reason that we don't attain it. And the solution for that reason is to let it go. Ask yourself, okay, professional basketball player, not this life. What are my skills? What are my abilities? If God has put me here on earth in a small framed female body, what are all of the infinite, powerful, amazing ways that I can use that incarnation rather than being miserable that I'm not able to be a professional basketball player? Reason number 2 is because we have decided in our minds that we are not good enough to succeed, that we are not good enough for that particular achievement, or simply that we are not in general worthy of success. And a lot of this comes from early childhood patterning. So maybe we had a mother or a father or a sibling or a teacher or a babysitter or someone who, in an unskilled moment, in a moment where they were not grounded and anchored, said something to us like, "You are stupid. You are worthless. You will never become anything." Or maybe they always compared us to a sibling, to a cousin, to someone next door, and they said, "Why can't you be like your sister or your brother? You are the stupid one. You are the lazy one. Look at your brother, look at your sister, look at your cousin. Look at these people's children. What is wrong with you?" And we internalize it. And 15, 20, 40, 50 years later, when we cannot succeed, and we wonder why, we don't realize the impact that those early teachings have on our psyche. We take those statements that, of course, whoever said them, if you told them now, "Hey, you ruined my life," they would feel miserable. They'd say, "My God, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Oh, I was just so frustrated." Or, "Oh, I was just trying to inspire you." Or, "I was just trying to discipline you." I was just trying to encourage you to do better. But we've internalized them. And so we literally self-sabotage. And even when we do have the skills and the abilities to succeed, we don't. Because if I succeed, then what it means is that my own internal truth is wrong. And in a lot of ways, maintaining an internal harmony, a consonance internally between what I believe, what I think, and how my life is. In many ways, that is more important than my happiness, than my peace, than my success, and it sounds crazy. But this is the workings of the human mind. So ask yourself, what pattern do I have? What commentary is there in my mind that is telling me you'll never be able to really do anything? You're not going to make a difference in the world. Who are you to think that you can help people? Who are you to think that you're worthy of achieving something? Who are you to think that you're worthy of really being anything? And so every time we get just at the brink of beautiful success, unconsciously, we sabotage so that that truth that I am worthless can stay my truth. So it's very important on both levels, on every level, to free ourselves from these patterns of thoughts. This is why. It's why we meditate. It's why we do japa. It's why we do seva. It's why we do all of our spiritual practice, why we chant. To free our minds of the total nonsense that is guiding, running, and ruining our lives. But lastly, you also need to free yourself of this idea that I am worthy of occupying my place here on planet Earth simply because I have produced something today. Nothing in nature produces 24/7, 365 days a year, every year. The most beautiful trees have green leaves, lush green leaves, certain seasons. Then the leaves dry, they fall down. Fruit trees give fruit, some seasons, not all. Our fields, in order for fields to be the most abundant, the most fertile, we actually need to let them lie fallow for a season. Farmers will tell you, if you don't leave fields fallow, if you don't do crop rotation, if you keep expecting one field to produce the same things season after season after season, it loses its fertility. So when everything in nature has seasons, we have wet seasons and dry seasons. We have hot seasons and cold seasons, fertile seasons, fallow seasons. When everything in nature is like that, why would you be different? But your worthiness of being here has nothing to do with what you produce. It has to do with who you are. What you do as your dharma, your offering unto this divine universe. That you give because it is who you are. Not because it makes you worthy, but because it's the most natural outcome, offering. Like apples are the most natural offering of an apple tree. So let it come when it flows naturally. And if you've got fallow periods, love yourself in the fallow periods and recognize that you're building fertility for next season.
Sadhviji, can you talk about your practice and which aspects of it have been most transformative to you personally?
My personal practice. So my practice has evolved a lot over the years since I've been here. To me, the most important part of my practice is sincerity. I have never been someone who's very good at doing something just because I should. It has to be something that feels deeply sincere, that feels deeply real, that feels connected. And so my practice has evolved as my spiritual life has evolved. When I first came to India, I had no practice, zero. I had never done any formal meditation. I did do yoga asanas. I went to yoga class. But for me, the yoga that I did was a perfect solution to the fact that as a student I carried a very heavy backpack full of books in the days before iPads and smartphones, where we actually had to lug around textbooks and notebooks and things like that. Since I've come to India, I've developed a practice that, as I said, it evolves. But my practice includes deep meditation. It includes the practice of japa, which is the recitation of a mantra that my Guru Puja Swamiji has given me. It also includes prayer. I miss our Ganga Aarti ceremony. That was our special, beautiful prayer ceremony every night. I have my own personal time of prayer to God, but there's nothing more powerful than praying during the sacred Aarti. So I have parts of my practice that take place alone in my room, my japa, my meditation. Then I have parts of my practice that take place in community, the Aarti, the Satsang. But the most transformative practice, as you asked, is really the seva and the surrender. To be able to really give oneself in service, to give oneself fully as a tool in the divine hands, to be able, without ego, or where the ego comes to just surrender it, to really be allowed and to allow oneself every minute and every moment, every breath, to be used in service. Not what my ego wants, not what's the most fun, not what's the most glamorous, not even that which gets the most appreciation, but to be able to be used as that channel for the divine to flow through has been an extraordinary blessing. because it cuts through the ego so beautifully, like nothing else. Because the ego keeps coming back and having its own ideas. And as you serve, as you serve, as you serve, that seva just purifies and purifies and purifies the mind and the ego, and brings you more and more into face to face with the self. So for me, that's been the most transformative. I was raised in a culture where it's all about me. What for me? Where's my part in this? What do I get? What do I want to do? And to really be able to give oneself, as Puja Swamiji says, not what for me, but what through me, has absolutely been the most transformative. But it's only been possible because of the transformation of the experience that I had of the divine. I wouldn't have had the resilience to be able to embark on this path if God had not given me the extraordinary experience that I had at the beginning. So there was the initial transformation, the kind of fireworks, volcano transformation. And then there's been the every moment of every day clearing of the darkness, clearing of the ignorance, transformation. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Join us tomorrow as we gather here for our sacred Friday sunset meditations. And then we'll see you back here on Saturday for Satsang. So much love, and have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world.
Vargo